Welcome to Ty and Rye, the Finance Guys Market Mini Report, a short podcast that updates you on the past week's important topics and trends. Remember, this is not an offer to sell, and past performance does not guarantee future returns. Here are Ty Hansen and Ryan Robertson.
Hello and welcome to another episode of our Market Mini for the week ending October 8th. And I'm here at my home office again, and we're actually in the middle of making some changes here at our house, so there's no decor on the wall right now, so a little bit of a different backdrop this week. Nonetheless, appreciate you joining, and yeah, happy to share some thoughts about this week. I do also want to take another second here for those looking on YouTube. You can see my Utah Utes football shirt. Good job to my Utes, who had an awesome victory down in the at the Coliseum against USC, against the Trojans. Had a really nice dominant win yesterday, so go Utes. All right, more important things this last week in the market. So really good week, nice little recovery from the previous weeks. Many of you, I think the previous couple of weeks were a little frustrated with your portfolios, things you were seeing in the market. Definitely saw a lot of, an increase of emails and phone calls on our end with our clients, but it's okay. Totally expected. I understand that. Now, this last week, though, however, was really good. We saw a really good recovery. We saw the markets, with some good, rebounds, some good double digits. I think we were about 2 to 2.5% on average was the return last week. So nice little week. So what spurred the recovery? What's going on? Really, again, I've been talking about this idea the last couple of weeks that, again, it's just so weird. We see this a lot of times in September and or October, where we get this kind of resistance test and things where the market will correct for a few weeks or throughout a month or so. But anyways, there's in my opinion, I still think there's some steam in this market. I think we're still going to see some return the rest of this year, but we did see some really good economic data for unemployment. It was a lot lower than projected. We're at 4.8%, which is a lot lower, and seeing some jobs created. So still seeing some decent numbers on the employment front, which is good, right? Jobs are being created. People are going back to work. That's a good thing. We're also starting to see some improvements with some of the COVID numbers and COVID data. So there's also that. The interesting thing, though, however, is we're still slowly seeing that spike in the treasury rates and inflation, which doesn't necessarily mean inflation, but when if you see interest rates rise, a lot of times it's highly correlated with interest rates or inflation on the rise. So it's good. I'm happy that we saw really good recovery this last week, and that we're seeing the rebound even when the treasury rates are rising, right? That makes me happy. That makes me feel like, okay, the market, in my opinion, I think there was just a little bit more fear in the market because we had been on such a good little run throughout the summer. So that's kind of where I'm leaning towards that thought. The interesting thing too is we're seeing energy really being the kind of the bell cow. In fact, this last month, let me pull up the information. Just this last month alone, the energy sector this last month. So basically, if you're invested first part of September through now the first part of October, up almost 20%. Pretty wild little return this last month. So we're seeing this kind of shift and the spike in, and that's part of that. That's also actually tied to that inflation, right? As inflation goes up, we tend to see energy prices go up. So anyway, it's just something to be thinking about, right? We're also seeing that shift. I talked about it last week from growth back to value, right? So we're starting to see a little bit more value, a little bit more of a value play in the market for the last quarter of this year. So, again, this isn't an offer to sell. This is an investment advice, right? You definitely need to do your own research. We're just kind of talking about what's going on. But, as I'm watching the trends, that's the big trend I'm seeing is we're shifting from that growth orientation back to that value, back to things like energy, other commodities, things like that. So anyways, good week in the market. great weekend. Go Utes. It was an awesome win. So appreciate as always the listen. And we're glad to be able to bring this to you. Check us out at tieandrye.com. And feel free to check out our podcast and go to your favorite site to download. So thanks again. Have a lovely week this upcoming week, and appreciate all the support.
Thanks for listening to Tie and Rye, the Finance Guys. This is our weekly market mini report. New episodes of this will be put out every Monday, so make sure you don't miss those. Also, the longer podcasts, more in-depth discussions, those will drop every Saturday. So subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, or follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Tie and Rye Podcast. That way you don't miss any new episodes. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you have a great week.